Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Susie with Gemini Connect, and I'm here today with the Sony A7R III mirrorless camera. Now we're going to do a little unboxing because this camera actually just arrived. I just picked it up from the mailman downstairs, so we're going to take a look at what's inside of the box. So here is the box, and when you open it up, you get a bunch of manuals, paper manuals, which I'm sure you can also find online as well. And a cable for the battery. Let's see, camera strap for your camera. And okay, here's the battery charger. And in here is the camera itself, which is nicely wrapped up. And let's see what else. More cables. Lots and lots of cables. I think that's really the bulk of it. Oh, battery, of course. Yeah, I think that is pretty much everything that is in this box. So now let's dig into the individual pieces. Yep, empty box. Okay, let's start with the actual camera itself. I'm very, very excited. Here it is. Wow. Definitely a little bit bigger and heavier than the A7R III, which is the other Sony camera that I primarily use. But I really like the feeling of it. I like that the grip here kind of protrudes, and so I can actually hold it a little bit firmer. For me, because I had relatively small hands, this fits my hands just perfectly. The A7R III I felt was actually a little too small of a camera, but this one feels really nice in my hands. So here is the camera. LCD pops out just a little bit. Unfortunately, it does not fully rotate out, but it's enough. It's more than my DSLRs do, so I'm pretty happy with that. And yeah, here is the camera. Let's see, we also have, very important, battery charger, which again is much bigger than the A7R III. It feels a lot closer to my Canon 5D Mark III's charger, and that's probably because the battery is also different than the smaller mirrorless cameras, or the smaller crop sensor cameras. Yeah, so that fits right in there. And the battery charger is not a wall charger, unlike my Canons. It instead comes with a cable, so you can plug it into the wall, which is just another part to have to keep track of, unfortunately, but okay, USB-C cable, nice. And okay, so we have a wall charger. Oh, okay, I see. This is the USB-C connector, so you can connect your camera to your laptop, and this is the actual cable for your battery charger, so you can plug it into the wall. And yeah, unfortunately, I would really appreciate if they had not only the cable, but also a way to just plug the charger itself into the wall, so you don't have to lug this around as well. But yeah, there's the battery. The strap, which you'd have to connect to the camera. We're not going to do that right now. And this is some kind of adapter. Okay, this is an adapter for your cables, which don't know if I'm going to use that, but nice to have. Keep it somewhere safe since it's a really small piece. And yeah, lots and lots of reference guides, manuals, which again, I'm pretty certain you can find these online, and papers to register your camera. So again, this too, keep it on the side. So now that we've unboxed the camera, I'm not really going to turn this on and play with it yet, probably because the battery isn't charged, so I have to do that. But let me talk a little bit about why I picked this camera up in the first place. So for scale, let me show you what else I've been working with. So I'm a Canon shooter, and I have been ever since the 5D Mark III came out. I actually originally started with Nikon, but I switched over to the 5D Mark III because I wanted to do video. and I really haven't done much video with this camera, but it's been a really great stills camera, and I've had it for a long time, as you might be able to tell by all of the wear and tear on the body. But you know, this camera actually has never been broken. It's held up really well. The shutter's been replaced once, but other than that, this camera is a workhorse. It really is. I mean, again, it may not look all that great, but that's just a testament, I think, to just how much of a beating this camera can actually take. And it still works extremely well. Same with this lens, the 1635 f2.8 lens. I use this a lot for real estate, for architecture, and also for shooting events when I need to capture like really wide shots. And I bought this lens used, and this is the original first version, not the second or third version that came out. And even as a used lens, this lens has just held up so well, never had any problems, never needed servicing, just, you know, cleaning every once in a while. And so, yeah, so Canon is just solid, it's reliable, the colors on it are great, and I love it. But if you're a Canon shooter, I think you're probably in the same boat where you're waiting for them to release something that has a little bit more tech, like the features just aren't on par with Sony, which is part of the reason why I picked up the Sony A7RIII, and this camera as well. I bought it when it first came out. I bought it with the intention of using it while I was on a month-long trip in Asia. And again, just look at the size. I mean, granted, this is a crop sensor and different functionality, but still, size-wise, I mean, which one would you rather be traveling with if you had a month living out of your backpack? Definitely the Sony is winning in terms of size. So I picked up the A7RIII, and I'm really glad I did, because if I hadn't, I would probably still be fully on board with Canon. I wouldn't have realized just how much Sony has innovated in terms of cameras. So this has been, intentionally, it was picked up as a travel hobby camera, but the more I've used it, the more I find myself using it as my second body while I'm actually shooting events, while I'm at food shoots. So more and more I've been using it for professional shoots. Not fully replacing my Canon yet, but sometimes it gets really close. And more importantly, I've been using it for video. So this YouTube channel and just social media videos. Video is something I've always wanted to get into. It's why I switched to Canon, and I guess it's why I'm switching to Sony. And now that I'm actually doing more videos, I think I can justify that cost a little bit more. So yeah, I've been using the A7RIII for, gosh, almost 2-3 years now, and I'm kind of running into that limitation of shooting with a crop sensor, and I really want a full frame because I've just been so used to shooting with full frames with Canon. So that is one of many reasons why I finally am picking up the A7R III. Now, size-wise, these are pretty comparable, but obviously the A7R III is definitely a little bit chunkier, heavier, but in that sense it feels more solid. So that I'm looking forward to. And still, if you compare the A7R III to the 5D Mark III, which I think the 5D Mark III is probably not that much different size-wise than the 5D Mark IV, the Sony is still quite a bit smaller and definitely more compact. So yeah, so I have the A7R III. I'm intending to use it mostly for video. I really wanted the in-body stabilization, the IBIS, and the ability to shoot 4K, which I know is available on the 5D Mark IV, but didn't quite want to stick with Canon on this one. So yeah, I'm using it mainly for video. And yeah, I will also be using it for stills, because I still, you know, make my living off of still photography, so I'm gonna see how it does in terms of stills, but not planning to fully sell off my Canon gear yet, because I have 2 Canon bodies, 10 Canon lenses, and 3 Canon speedlight flashes, so I'm pretty heavily invested in Canon. And I do have some Sony lenses, but not quite enough to justify fully switching over yet. But I do intend to use an adapter and adapt my Canon lenses on my Sony body, which I've been doing with the A7RIII, and it works more or less pretty well, so we'll have to see and, you know, see how that works on the A7R III as well. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to making some stills and making some videos with this camera, and yeah, we'll see where I end up in a few months. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I'll respond to them as best as I can. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching.